Hotel brothers and sisters, Black Power is always giving honor to the Creator, giving honor to the ancestors. Chief of Staff Brother Harris Abdul, my sister, my in-laws, my father, my subscribers, and all of my street law soldiers and brothers and sisters and family that are fighting for the liberation and salvation of our black nation. I told you all I did one part of, the murder of Kim Porter. Now, we got to get down to some core issues in terms of how things went down with this sister. It wasn't no secret that they always tried to make it appear that, this sister had some type of issues or some type of medical situations. And even if she did, let's take a good look at, how this thing took place. First of all, you have to look at who benefits from this sister's death. First of all, it relieves P. Diddy of paying, $150, nearly $200,000 a month in child support. It relieves him of that. Also, the children will receive Social Security, as well as, Diddy being relieved of paying all this money, and she knew a lot about his personal life. Once again, what turned her off is when she was writing the book. And one incident in the book was when, one of the things that turned her off about this motherfucking faggot was that he would constantly suggest, or literally beg her to put that rubber dick in his butt during intercourse when they were intimate. He would always try to persuade her, to ram that rubber dick up his ass, because she's not the only sister that has said that, However, the other sister, Cassie, I think it's Cassie Ventura. Cassie Ventura what made Diddy cling on to her, and take care of her, because Cassie would do that. She would ram the rubber object up his ass, those plastic dicks or whatever, up Diddy's ass, because that's how nasty this motherfucking Diddy is. Now we're gonna talk about some things that don't add up. How did she ended up, just literally walks into a hospital and dies. You always have to question that type of shit. And it's just a lot of things that's not adding up. The sacrifices and I believe she was sacrificed, as Diddy, even though Diddy sacrificed Biggie. But sometimes you have to continue if you want to maintain and stay in that $1 billion bracket. There's some things that you're going to have to do in terms of eliminating other human beings. For example, these special made 14 karat gold, 24 karat gold coffins. The same coffins that Aretha Franklin, James Brown, Michael Jackson, and several others, were buried in. And I looked up and done some research on these caskets. I did have the paperwork, but somehow it wouldn't allow me to print the paperwork out once I'd done the information. And the work on and research on these coffins. Now, You know, Kim Porter passed on November the 15th of this year. Her funeral was the 24th of this year. That's approximately 9 days, eight and a half to 9 days. Now, these caskets takes no exceptions. I wish I had the paperwork to show you. No exceptions. It takes a minimum of 14 days to get these caskets made. To have this casket ready, it takes 2 weeks and a little more, or a little more. Now, how was it that Kim Porter's coffin was already made in 9 days? And also, you mean to tell me that it appears that her death had already been planned and the coffin had already been purchased before she passed? At least a week before she passed, that coffin was already paid for and being made. And so, you know, the shit doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. You know. And then, you know, at the service, now all of a sudden now, I'm going to show you some something in a minute that will make you also think. Now, they had this dick goblin faggot here, Pharrell Williams. Miss Pharrell was one of the performers at Kim Porter's funeral. This Angie Mama, buckwheat, you know, house slave, this cocooning motherfucking bed wench, you know, I don't know if I want a girl or a boy, you know, bubble-eyed motherfucking bed wench, Mary J. Blige. She sang at the funeral. She performed. Now, mind you, this the same goddamn coon who sat there and holding Hillary Clinton's hand, singing a song she wrote. And the song and the lyrics went something like, "To my brothers out there, if you'll stop by the police, please do whatever they say, and all this, will be a good nigga," and all of this type of motherfucking coon, and, you know, submission, and waving of the black man's manhood when he's approached by these goddamn ice monkeys. And Hillary Clinton, she holding this motherfucker, Hillary Clinton, this dick weighing bitch who in the 90s said that the black youth was a super predator. That means, you know, you're saying that our babies were nothing but goddamn animals. There's no way you can take something like that back and say super predators. This is when your husband, you know, was in office. The big slick Willie, when he was dealing all this motherfucking drugs and killing motherfuckers in Mena, Arkansas, when he was governor there. You know. Get the Clinton Chronicles, a DVD called the Clinton Chronicles. They have murdered nearly 200 motherfucking people. You know, and look at this shit, you know, French Montana, who is openly a fucking faggot. P. Diddy is laying, you know, with his ass on this deck. I showed y'all this picture before, you know, of French Montana and Diddy. They have really been fucking, you know, and he goes everywhere Diddy goes. Everywhere Diddy goes. You know, everywhere. You know, they like husband and wife. He's taking this motherfucking punk on more cruises than he would his family or woman. Here they are on Diddy's yacht, Nude. Everywhere, y'all. And there wasn't no secret. French Montana and Diddy, they saw it fighting, exchanging, trading and swapping motherfucking spit and slob and tossing each other's fucking salad, infecting these fucking sisters. This is the Kim Porter's casket. Once again, that, her coffin was ready. And if it takes 14, just say if it took 14 days to make the coffin, that means 5 days, 5 to 7 days, she was already, the coffin was already being made. Meaning two things. The murder, she was murdered, at the appropriate time, or she had been murdered prior to that and the casket was already being ordered. But we all know, we're not stupid. We know that the casket was ordered, then they murdered her. Brothers and sisters, listen. All it takes is when they go into the hospital, they say the doctor will be with you in a minute. In the meantime, go ahead and strip down, put your gown on and all this. Let's get an IV going. And that's the end of your ass. Then they do a cold blue and play like, they don't know what's going on, to play it out. And your ass is gone. And then they have this band. All this stuff was conducted in a matter of 4.5 days. Now, these are the burial plots of Kim Porter and Kim Porter's mother. Now, how in the fuck were they able to make this shit in a couple of days? These marble benches, these marble crypts, 2 of them, not 1, 2 of them, on a marble and concrete platform. How were they able to do this in a couple of days? So all you motherfuckers that don't believe what goes on in this industry, you should have enough goddamn sense to see this shit. And see what it was. This was about Diddy. See, all eyes was on Diddy. They went down south, where Kim Porter, grew up at. Went down south, and these are, it's a big, this is an event in the country. To have these entertainers and shit come down the south, that's a big thing. And he knew this. He all on top of motherfucking cars, waving at people. The same shit he did at Biggie's Ascension. The same way with this coked out. Who had this coked out wench who played and had a role and wanted Biggie out of there too. Because once, she found out about Kim, Lil' Kim, and wasn't willing to deal with the competition, Faith Evans, and so she was mad at Biggie too. So, she didn't mind if they took him out of here because she benefited greatly from Biggie's murder. See, this, like I said, this was, Diddy made this shit about him. It wasn't about Kim Porter. Cause you don't hear nothing about this sister no more. It's all about this dick eating motherfucking faggot. See, deaths to him is an event. This is where he can flash and floss and promote and look for fresh motherfucking dick down there in the South. Once again, these are, and then he sits alone at the grave site. See, that's a photo op. This is a photo shoot to this motherfucking bitch nigga. Let's Big Pun. People seem to forget about him as well. Although he was an excessive wife beater, I saw footage where he smacked his wife in the face with a fucking Uzi. And it made me lose a lot of respect. For this who ate the truckload of Domino pizza ass motherfucker. Because he wasn't none but a walking stomach. He was a gigantic stomach with legs on with a pair of Timberland boots. A goddamn walking intestine. And used to be a model. He went from 100, as you can see, he was a model. Went from 160 pounds. To the same, when he weighs, he has to go to a truck stop to weigh himself. Because this motherfucker was nearly 700 pounds. They had to make a special toilet for this motherfucker. Goddamn hydraulic motherfucking shit bowl. And with the, how they had those cars in LA, them hydraulics, they jump up and all. He had one of them motherfucking toilets. That had hydraulics on it. That would sit up when a certain amount of weight is on it. And it would let off air. This motherfucker had a hydraulic shit bowl. And however, he was sacrificed too, and it was an easy sacrifice for somebody of that size. But who benefited from his passing? Fat hoe, who was nowhere near tough as a Big Pun in terms of lyrically. He is no comparison. Big Pun would smoke his motherfucking ass on the mic any given day, any given Sunday. But Fat Joe benefited from it. And don't think he didn't get down. That Cuban link shit and all. Don't think he didn't get down and play ball. How do you think he got to be in certain movies and, hosting award shows and he's in all types of shit? You just don't get that. After he made the sacrifice of Big Pun, it elevated him. Larry Davis. For those who may not know about Larry Davis, this was a straight motherfucking G. At first he was, the police had him selling dope for them. And then when he wanted out, they attempted to kill him. And that's when he was, he was about to expose these motherfuckers because they were using him. And so, he staged, it was a hostage situation, a standoff, and, after several hours, with the FBI promising Larry Davis that he would not be murdered if he came out and surrendered. He came out and surrendered, to these New York City pigs who he was selling dope for. And see, this is how greedy these goddamn white pigs are. He was making them hundreds of thousands of dollars, sending their children to college. And then when he was done, they couldn't accept that. The greedy, white, stinking fucking pigs. Better known as NYPD. So they gave him some trumped up charges, which he had he was acquitted on. However, they set him up on a bogus attempted murder charge. And what happened, they gave him 25 to life. And he was going to beat that. But what happened, while he was locked up, these motherfucking crackers paid this wetback, fried corn sandwich eating motherfucking, taco supreme eating motherfucking, spit motherfucking, illegal motherfucking spit wetback motherfucking Spanish motherfucker killed Larry Davis. In the pen. He was paid to do that. Because the book deal and everything was out. The book deal with BET, the movie deal, everything was on the table. And a lot of motherfucking crackers was they was going to do some time. They were going to be investigated and they were going to lay the fuck down. And see, that's the thing about this white motherfucking dog. See, they have no problem putting us inside, behind enemy lines, putting us in cages. And they do the same motherfucking thing. But when it's their turn, they commit suicide. They go on witness protection program. They turn into goddamn rats. And they get so weak. Although they're weak any motherfucking way. But their weakness is exposed. And so, Brother Larry Davis was murdered before the book deal and the movie deal, came to fruition. And so we want to give a shout out to Brother Larry Davis and the Hotep and the Black Power, that he rests in power for being a stand-up warrior. Talk about Harriet Tubman, who during this time of the season, usually, back then, they would have 6 inches to a foot of snow. And can you imagine some of these brothers and sisters, our ancestors, running with no shoes on, with rags tied around their feet in the snow, going from Maryland, trying to make it to Pennsylvania, and finally to Albany, New York, in the snow, in that blistering motherfucking weather. She made 18 trips. 18. Much credit should be given to her. Much credit. Every black woman should pattern themselves after Harriet Tubman in their own craft. Meaning if you are a hairdresser, a beautician, a secretary, or whatever, apply that Harriet Tubman vibration and energy to whatever it is that you do and enhance your craft. Become the top. And that's how she was. She had bounties on her head. The motherfucking U.S. Cavalry was after her. $40,000 reward for her, which is equivalent to like the $2 million reward that they want for Asada Shakur today. Come on, y'all. We got to give our people. We got to continue to embrace the vibration and energy of our people. They didn't do this shit for nothing. Give them their props. And a lot of you sisters are so goddamn lazy. You don't want to do a motherfucking thing. This sister was doing more than what most men do today. She's an exemplary example of what a black queen, what a black woman should be. But she had a mentor. She had to have that. That gender principle came into play. She had to have that balance from that male, William Steele, who really founded the Underground Railroad and taught Harriet Tubman everything that she knew. But as you know, the black man doesn't get any credit. You don't even hear of him. And I'm willing to bet that half of you that are watching this video have never heard of William Steele. Because they put the black man out of history. But he was the motherfucking one for real. He was that nigga. Murray Beecher, same way. She was not no bullshitter. Murray Beecher. Let me see. Let's see what I got on her. Murray Beecham was one of the conductors of the Underground Railroad. She was one of the conductors. For those who are slow, the Underground Railroad was not a train, just a network of people on foot that were being helped by Quakers, the Amish, and African Native Americans, who we call Indians, but the black Indians. That's how Harriet Tubman and Murray Beecham and William Steele were able to cross the waters in Maryland, the Delaware and the Patuxent, and the Potomac by way of canoes and boats. Frederick Douglass, who always wanted to meet Harriet Tubman. Even though, Frederick Douglass ended up being like O.J. Simpson. Got rid of his black queen and moved a white bitch up in his house. And just became a motherfucking lover of the goddamn ski bunny. And his home still stands, which is 15 minutes away from my house, the Frederick Douglass home. The original things are still there. The bed warmers, the original mattress bed, the books, everything is still there. Even the scent from that white bitch. That's the and the pink part is where the slave states were. And all those brothers and sisters ended up, after Reconstruction or during Reconstruction, ended up migrating north. Let's talk about this nigga, Big Daddy Kane. Now back in the 80s and 90s, Kane was the shit. He was that nigga. He had swagger and all that. And he was rocking. Rocking that high top. And down here they call it the box. They used to call it the box Philly. The box fade, the kid and play and all that, But Kane used to rock that motherfucking high top. And everybody wondered who that was on Biz Marquis' Vapors video. And Big Daddy Kane was vicious lyrically. He was a bad motherfucker lyrically. However, he had to play ball too. In order for him to get the movie role in one of the greatest black cowboy movies of our time, Posse, he had to do some shit, He had to get down. Mario Van Peebles, Debo, and all the rest of those guys, they had already paid their dues. That's why you see Tiny Lister, y'all know him as Debo. He's in everything. Him and Terry Crews, them big motherfuckers, they've gotten down several times. Because Debo was on Benny Hinn trying to, pray to get his soul back and all this shit, Cracker don't play like that. But anyway, Big Daddy Kane did an outstanding role in the movie Posse. But this what he had to do for Playgirl. Now, once again, this is what I'm saying, in the privacy of your own home, if you nude, because a lot of people like to walk around nude and all that, that's cool. But when you are nude, a man, and you got 8 other motherfucking men